Most people naturally look beyond themselves in search of fulfillment, driven by a deeply ingrained belief, one shaped by the world around us, that true satisfaction comes from external accomplishments. We're taught to pursue success, recognition, and material gains, assuming these will meet our deepest desires. Yet time and again, experience reminds us that nothing outside of us can fully satisfy that persistent longing for something more. We chase after goals that always seem just out of reach, and in doing so, we often become consumed with constant activity, focused on doing rather than simply being, on outward movement rather than inward awareness. It's difficult for us to imagine a state of complete stillness and peace, especially when our minds and senses are perpetually in motion. However, such stillness is only accessible through a unique joy and understanding, one that cannot be manufactured or found through any external means. The Bible gently urges us to be still and know that I am God, inviting us to experience something deeper than intellectual theology. When we approach the Bible not just as a religious text, but as a guide filled with spiritual and psychological insight, we open ourselves to a transformative journey. At its heart, the Bible speaks of ascension, not merely as a physical event, but as an inner evolution. When we go beyond literal readings, its stories and teachings become a rich symbolic roadmap, leading us back to our true nature. By viewing Jesus' teachings through this lens, we begin to understand them as a guide to awakening our divine potential. Christ consciousness, often confined to historical or religious frameworks, emerges as a living pathway to spiritual transformation. According to William Donahue, renowned for his unconventional but deeply insightful biblical interpretations, every individual carries within them the Christ presence. This divine essence waits to be awakened, but only when we allow its space to emerge. When we trace the origin of the word Christ, we find it stems from Christus or Christos, meaning anointed. It represents an ideal, divine truth that enters into the human experience with the power to transform our flawed, limited nature. This transformation begins within the mind, reshaping our carnal, flesh-bound tendencies into something higher. The word incarnate shares its root with carnal, pointing to the earthly, lower dimensions of our existence. To be incarnate is to be clothed in the flesh, to carry the weight of the physical world. John 1:14 tells us, "And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us," highlighting this very mystery, divine truth entering human form. Jesus declared that the kingdom of God is within us, urging us to search inward. He spoke of the single eye and warned that we lose the key when we fail to look inside ourselves. In Matthew 6:21, he teaches, "For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also," reminding us to store our treasures not on earth, but in heaven. These treasures aren't material, they are the values, insights, and inner riches we cultivate. In Matthew 7:14, Jesus says, "Enter through the narrow gate. The way is narrow and few find it." This path, though challenging, becomes visible when we meditate, elevate our awareness, and earnestly follow his teachings. In doing so, we truly seek the kingdom within, and in finding it, we uncover salvation, not as a reward from outside, but as a revelation from within. We come face to face with the light, the pure source of power that resides in us. We find the hidden switch, and once flipped, the light pours forth, bringing liberation. This inner freedom isn't dependent on any religion, doctrine, or institution. We no longer need to follow others because the light inside becomes our guide. In that moment, we understand that this internal connection is the most valuable thing in the world. Jesus, whose real name was Yeshua, did not enter this world to showcase his own greatness. Rather, his purpose was to show us our own. This is the true heart of his message. He came not to be exalted above humanity, but to awaken us to the divine essence we all carry within. He came to teach us how to reconnect with the divine essence that already dwells within, and how to become one with it. This sacred presence is not something distant or external. The witness, the spirit, the life, the I am, all reside within you. At the core of your being, divinity lives. In John 10:34, Jesus reminds us, "Is it not written in your law, "I said you are gods?" With great intent, he sought to convey that each person can access salvation by awakening the divinity within themselves, not by searching for it outside. There is no higher power hidden elsewhere. It has always been within you, shining through the sacred lens of your own divine self. When you begin to connect with this inner divinity, something incredible happens. Dormant parts of the brain awaken. Ideas flow. Understanding expands. Wisdom emerges. A deep sense of freedom takes root. And as this transformation unfolds within, it naturally radiates outward, touching the world around you. This is the heart of ascension, a movement from the old, unaware self into a state of enlightenment. It is a passage from passivity and helplessness into active awareness, conscious reflection, and personal responsibility. In Matthew 16:24, Jesus tells his disciples, "If anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me." This powerful statement speaks not of external sacrifice, but of a profound inner metamorphosis. To embody Christ consciousness, the divine intelligence within capable of manifesting anything, we must first confront ourselves. Denying oneself means facing and letting go of every false belief, every attachment, and every self-defeating thought. It means crucifying those internal narratives that say, "I can't," "I'm not enough," or "I don't deserve that," and replacing them with truths that uplift. "I can," "I am capable," "I am worthy." The Christ within represents the boundless potential of our divine nature. Every time we say, "I cannot," we deny this innate power. That's why it is vital to transcend the mental programs and emotional conditions that have led us to believe we are limited. Many identify with their lower, restricted self, but Jesus' instruction is clear. Deny that false self, take up your symbolic cross, and follow the light within. The omnipotent divine essence resides within you, not apart from you, not above you, but one with your being. In Matthew 8:13, Jesus affirms, "As you have believed, so let it be done for you." Everything you need already exists within the essence of who you are. This essence is not separate from you. It is inseparably linked and remains incomplete without you. That is your source of true power. Even if you don't consciously feel it, your essential being is whole. It is fully aware of this completeness and constantly maintains your connection to divine creative energy. At your core, the fullness of all existence is always present, ready to form into beauty, into miracles, into whatever you dare to envision with calm, unwavering expectation. And yet, in contrast, the powers that govern this world often work to keep us bound to lower vibrations, tethered to the material world. Through institutions, systems, and societal structures, they shape a reality that keeps us small. From early childhood, we are told we are sinners, taught to kneel, and conditioned to beg for mercy. From others, from systems, from a distant God. This disempowering belief becomes ingrained, and it serves to trap us. Even in death, they attempt to hold our souls captive within the lower three chakras, according to ancient spiritual philosophies. It is a strategy of control, one that prevents us from rising, from remembering who we truly are. When our minds and souls detach from the physical body, this earthly vessel, we may still carry with us the lingering weight of attachments to emotions, desires, or material cravings like food, sex, and possessions. These persistent addictions do not necessarily end with the body's death. Instead, they can bind us to the lower astral realms. If our consciousness remains entangled with materialism and negativity, we continue to resonate with those lower vibrations, essentially creating a personal form of hell within the astral plane. This unresolved state may lead us to reincarnate once again into the physical world, repeating the cycle because we have not yet prepared ourselves for life beyond death. Breaking free from this cycle requires a conscious detachment from external distractions. This is precisely why we are subtly manipulated to become addicted to them. Social media, entertainment, and constant stimulation are designed to anchor our attention to the root chakra, the seat of our animal instincts and material existence. But to transcend this trap, we must embrace the principle of mind over matter. We must come to the realization that we are far more than our physical form. We are, in truth, an eternal field of consciousness. Our task, then, is to stop identifying solely with our lower nature and begin aligning with the undying spirit that is our true identity. To better understand this, imagine the divine essence descending from the brain, symbolically the Father's house, into the solar plexus, the seat of incarnation. This process is metaphorically described as the crucifixion of the five senses. Through inner transformation, this Christ essence begins its ascent, returning to the Father's house, represented by the pineal gland. All of this speaks to the profound truth that the temple of God resides within. Just as a child in the womb begins to stir and seeks birth into the external world upon realizing there is something beyond, so too does the awakened mind begin to seek emergence into a higher realm once it becomes aware of its divine potential. To be born again is not simply a religious slogan. It is a transition from this material realm into a higher state of being, just as a newborn enters a new world at birth. In Gnostic teachings, the cross is not merely an instrument of suffering, but a sacred symbol of the intersection between spirit and matter. It marks the point where divine knowledge can be accessed, providing the path to transcendence. The cross signifies the meeting of God and man, the merging of the higher and lower self, the unity of masculine and feminine energies, the balance of the sun and the moon, the left and right energies of the body. Its equilibrium is found in the heart, the very center of our being. To live from the heart is to live in this balance. The heart becomes the axis where the chakras align, representing the harmony between good and evil. This alignment strengthens our bond with true cosmic intelligence. That's why Jesus is often depicted in sacred art pointing to his heart. It is not only the center of love, but of the torus field, the point of balance between polarities. To truly live from this place, one must align all the chakras and allow them to merge in the heart. The chakras, referred to in the Bible as the seven seals, are energetic centers that, when harmonized, deepen our connection with the divine within. Our bodies contain both the lower and higher self. The lower self is driven by instinctual impulses, sexuality, hunger, and power, while the higher self manifests as wisdom, intuition, and creative expression. The mind serves as the bridge between soul and body, and when it remains fixated on those lower impulses, we remain trapped in dense vibrations that prevent ascension. To rise above, we must shift our focus toward the higher energies, those aligned with the heavenly realm. This requires an open mind, one willing to stretch its awareness beyond the stars and pierce the veil of the ethereal. Our souls emit electromagnetic energy, and when our consciousness stays anchored to this world, that energy is funneled into the astral realm, the domain of thought and imagination. There, our mental and emotional states manifest forms. Unfortunately, when fueled by negativity, that energy gives rise to distorted entities, projections of the wounded ego. These entities are the very obstacles on the road to our divine essence. Only by transcending emotions like envy, greed, judgment, and trauma can we liberate ourselves to reach our full potential and reconnect with the sacred truth of who we are. The message is simple, yet powerful. Shift your perspective. Let go of the self-destructive concepts and attachments that bind you. But inevitably, many will ask, how do I do that? The rational mind always seeks a method, a step-by-step plan. Yet the subconscious, the deeper part of you, does not respond to how. It responds to desire, and desire is power. What truly initiates transformation is the decision, the absolute commitment in this present moment to release all negative beliefs about yourself and the world. This decision must be made now, in the eternal present, not postponed to an imagined future. And here lies the most astonishing truth. You are not the one doing the transformation. It is not your conscious effort that changes your mind. Rather, it is the Christ within you, the divine intelligence already present, that will perform the transformation. But for it to begin, you must first decide. Once the decision is made, the strength will come. The pathways will appear. The how will reveal itself, not as a formula, but as a living process, unfolding from the power of your own awakened choice. Because of your unwavering commitment, you and the Christ within you become one. This realization marks a profound shift in perception, a paradigm shift that changes everything. It is essential to understand that the power of Christ originates from within, not from any external source. This divine force expresses itself through your choices, through your willingness to take full responsibility for your inner world. So the question arises, are you truly ready, truly determined to release every negative aspect of yourself? The moment will inevitably come when you must act on this. It is written into your destiny, whether you accept it now or not. To know God is to know yourself. When you begin to understand your own nature, you begin to understand the universe and its energies. The path to divine realization starts with self-awareness. All ancient spiritual traditions echo the same truth. Ignorance clouds our vision. And this ignorance, woven into the evolutionary journey of humanity, prevents most people from awakening to the astonishing reality that God and Christ dwell within their own consciousness. It is your decision now. Are you ready to let go of all the negative beliefs that have defined your experience up to this point? If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. The power to heal, to rise, to transform, begins with the recognition of the divine spark within you. True healing doesn't come from outside. It is born of inner awakening. When we access this knowledge and rise above the limitations of the material world, we experience a rebirth, a spiritual renewal that transforms our entire state of being in this life and beyond. Now is the time to release every limiting thought you've ever held about yourself. Recognize that you are extraordinary, deeply valuable, and divinely created. You are a child of God, and the kingdom already belongs to you. As stated in Luke 17:21, the kingdom of God is within you. What more must happen in your life before you fully awaken to this truth? Perhaps the difficult or painful situations you've faced were not punishments, but calls for your attention. Every challenge may, in fact, be the Christ within you calling out, asking to be activated, urging you to remember who you are. A remarkable life, filled with purpose and wonder, is waiting for you. The only requirement is that you say yes, right here, right now. Accept the invitation, embrace the truth, and never forget, what seems hard, even impossible, is never beyond the reach of the Christ within you. What appears improbable is not impossible. There is always a possibility. That possibility becomes your reality the very moment you awaken Christ, the divine force already alive within your own consciousness.